Hello and welcome. In this episode, we're going to be talking about the Canon 5D Mark II, and you can see here is my Canon 5D Mark II. The question is the camera too old, or is it still viable in 2020? Let's find out. So I've done quite a bit of research when I bought this camera. I've had it maybe 8 years plus. So what I'm going to let you know is my views about the camera and if you should get it. This is coming from someone that's got a Canon T2i, which is a 550D in the UK, and I've been using that for a long time. That was my crop sensor body, which I'm currently using right now to record this, and I've got an additional angle where you can see the actual camera here, which is an action camera. So that's an actual Goodman's action camera that you're getting that view on. So apologies if the quality is not excellent, but it gets the point across. So what we'll do is I'll give you a few things that I thought about when I got the camera, and then we can see if this camera is still something that you can have and get good photos from. There's a few videos online about the 5D Mark II, and you may know since the 5D Mark II there have been various other models that have come out. So you've got the 5D originally, then you've got this one which is the 5D Mark II, and then the 5D Mark III, 5D Mark IV, and at the similar time as the 5D Mark III being released, the 6D came out and the 6D Mark II as well. There's loads of options out there for you, but what we'll do is see which one makes the most sense. So price wise, we'll start at price because that's a big factor with DSLR cameras. You can pick up a second-hand 5D for between £200 and £300. I saw some bad examples at that price, but you'll get a good one. This is on eBay. It's not the best place to buy cameras, but I've done a separate video which I'll link in the cards of how to buy from eBay and the tips you need to follow to getting a second-hand camera so you don't get done over basically. Both my cameras were from eBay, my Canon 550D and this 5D Mark II. So they've done fine for the various time I've had them. So let's get straight to the point. 5D Mark II. Do you need it? That's a question you can answer. We all want the latest, greatest gear, but if you're on this video in this day and age, so we're in 2020 now, you already know how this camera is, being released at back end of September 2008. So it's a fairly old camera, but for the price and the specifications, it's still a great contender. Being a full frame camera, you can make use of the full focal length. So for example, with this 50mm lens, you're getting a full 50mm view, whereas on my 550D it would be a crop sensor, so it's a slightly different view, but you'll know about that. So 5D Mark II, should you buy it in 2020? My answer would be yes, because if you're looking at other cameras, for example, let's look at the entry level 1000 series, 1200, 1300D. There's not a massive difference in price of that and a 5D Mark II, but a 5D Mark II is a professional full frame camera with a magnesium body. So that basically means it's a solid camera and you're going to get a long life out of it. But more specifically to the specs, you may already know these, but I'll cover them off quickly. It's a 21.1 megapixel camera, Digic 4 image processor, ISO is between 100 and 6400, which is expandable, and it's 3.9 frames per second continuous shooting. So possibly that's something that you can look at if you're looking to photograph something more faster. Then obviously you want a slightly faster frame rate. And those are your key specs. I won't go into too much detail because I'm sure you've done enough shopping around and looking at videos to see what the basics are of this camera. I'm covering more around the old camera still being used in 2020, because there's no reason why you can't use this camera to get great images. Low light performance is actually really good. So compared to a crop sensor, where on my 550 I'll be shooting at 1600 ISO and I'll get grain, For example, on a fashion catwalk, low light situation, the 5D Mark II actually performs very well up to 3200. So that shows you the difference between a crop sensor and a full frame body. It handles light better. So I would say if you're looking at shopping online, buy the camera and look at your capabilities of your current camera. So I would say the 5D Mark II at a good price with a good lens will work and be the only camera you need, I would say. For my needs, I've been doing a lot of photography on it, product photography, fashion photography, events photography, and with coupled with the right lens, you're sorted. So the main thing to keep in mind is get a satisfactory body. I'll call it satisfactory because there's various newer models that have come out of this camera. So if you're one of those people that likes to have the latest gear, I don't think this is the video for you. I should have said that at the starting because you've watched about maybe 6 minutes of this. But if you're here and you're looking at an old camera, you're in the right place. I've got various videos covering the 550D, which is a crop sensor body, which is another one to look at, which is fairly cheap. And I'll put a separate playlist up of the 5D Mark II as well, so you can check out those videos to help you along your journey. But I think, get it, don't hesitate. It's going to give you some great photos with the right lens. On the left is a video YouTube thinks you should be watching. On the right is that playlist I talked about. If you haven't already subscribed, make sure to subscribe so notifications come directly to you as I do various live streams as well.